Hey guys, tonight we're doing something a little different. Instead of the high drama of the palaces, we're going to the quiet places. We're visiting the ones who do the work while the rest of the world sleeps. The smith in the volcano, a keeper of the hearth, and the ferryman on the river. So, before you get too comfortable and lose your phone in the sheets, take a second to like the video and subscribe. But seriously, only if you actually enjoy falling asleep to this kind of history. If not, save the clip. And let me know in the comments, where are you tuning in from? And what time is it for you right now? It is always genuinely comforting to see how many of us are awake together in the dark, all across the world. You aren't the only one up at this hour. Now, let the day fade away. Unclench your jaw, let your shoulders drop. We have a long journey down. We begin in the forge. We begin our journey not in the golden halls of Mount Olympus, where the air is thin and the light is always bright, but far below the surface of the earth, in a place of permanent twilight. To find the god of the forge, one must leave the open sky behind. We travel tonight to the ancient volcanic island of Lemnos, a rugged piece of rock jutting out of the northern Aegean Sea. It is an island born of fire, formed millions of years ago, when the crust of the world broke open and spilled its molten heart into the cold ocean. The island itself feels alive. The ground is warm to the touch, and steam vents hiss softly from cracks in the rocky hillsides, whispering of the immense pressure building deep beneath our feet. We are walking toward the center of the island, toward the base of the great dormant volcano, Mosycla. The path is steep and narrow, covered in loose, gray gravel that crunches rhythmically underfoot. The vegetation here is sparse, tough, scrubby bushes that cling to the rock, their leaves coated in a fine layer of volcanic dust. The air smells of salt from the sea and sulfur from the earth. It is a harsh, clean smell, heavy with minerals. As we climb higher, the sounds of the ocean fade away, replaced by the low, hollow sound of the wind, blowing over jagged ridges of black basalt. Ahead of us, cut into the side of the mountain, is a dark archway. It is not a gate made by human hands, but a natural lava tube, a massive tunnel left behind when a river of liquid rock drained away eons ago. The entrance is wide and tall, swallowing the light. As we step across the threshold, the temperature changes instantly. The cool, breezy air of the island night is replaced by a thick, dry stillness. We are entering the domain of Hephaestus. The descent is slow. The floor of the tunnel is smooth obsidian, polished by the passage of time. It slopes downward at a gentle angle, taking us deeper and deeper into the crust of the planet. The walls here are rough and uneven, striated with layers of red and black rock that tell the geological history of the mountain. If you were to run your hand along the stone, it would feel dry and warm, vibrating slightly against your fingertip. This vibration is constant here. It is the hum of the earth's mantle, a deep, resonant thrumming that acts as a backdrop to everything that happens in this place. We walk for what feels like miles. The light from the entrance has long since vanished, replaced by a faint, ambient orange glow that seems to radiate from the rock itself. The tunnel widens, the ceiling rising higher and higher, until it is lost in the shadows above. Finally, the passage opens up into a vast, cavernous chamber. This is the workshop. The scale of the room is difficult to comprehend. It is a cathedral of stone, vast enough to hold a city block, yet it feels enclosed and private. The walls are made of sheer cliffs of dark basalt, rising up to vanish into the gloom. The air here is significantly hotter than in the tunnel. It is a dry, baking heat, like the inside of a kiln. It wraps around you, heavy and comforting, loosening the tension in your muscle. There is no humidity here, no dampness. Everything is crisp, preserved by the heat and the constant presence of smoke and ash. In the center of this immense space lies the source of the heat and the light. It is the great hearth, a circular pit in the floor of the cavern, where the tectonic plates have pulled apart to reveal the magma beneath. It is a lake of fire, bubbling slowly, thickly. The surface of the magma is a skin of cooling gray rock, which cracks open rhythmically to reveal the blinding gold liquid underneath. Crack, hiss, glow. The cycle repeats endlessly. It casts long, shifting shadows against the walls, making the cavern seem to breathe. The light is amber and gold, rich and warm, bathing the entire workshop in the colors of sunset. Scattered around the perimeter of the hearth are the tools of a god. These are not tools as we understand them, but massive instruments of industry. There are racks of iron tongs, each one as tall as a man, hanging from iron hooks driven into the stone walls. There are piles of raw ore, copper, tin, iron, gold, stacked in neat pyramids, waiting to be transformed. There are barrels of coal and charcoal, smelling of deep earth. In the center, closest to the fire, stands the anvil. The anvil is a monolith. It is a solid block of meteoric iron, black and dense, that fell from the sky before the first cities were built. It sits on a base of petrified oak, a trunk so old it has turned to stone. The face of the anvil is polished to a mirror finish, reflecting the dancing flames of the hearth. It is the altar of this temple, the place where the chaotic elements of the earth are beaten into order. Standing before the anvil is Hephaestus. He is a solitary figure in this vastness. He is built like the mountain itself, broad, heavy, and solid. His back is to us. He is wearing a heavy leather apron, scarred and burned from centuries of sparks. His skin is the color of bronze, shining with a thin sheen of sweat that reflects the firelight. He is motionless, staring into the heart of the fire. He is not a god of words, nor of swift action. He is a god of patience. He waits for the metal to reach the exact temperature, judging the heat not by a gauge, but by the color of the glow. He has stood here for 1,000 years. He will stand here for 1,000 more. Time means nothing in the forge. There is only the work, the heat, and the rhythm. Hephaestus shifts his weight. The leather of his apron creaks softly in the silence, a sound like old wood bending in the wind. He reaches out a hand toward the workbench, his fingers brushing against the handle of a massive pair of iron tongs. The metal is cool compared to the air of the room. He grips the tongs, feeling the roughness of the iron against his palm, and turns back to the fire. With a slow, deliberate movement, he extends the tongs into the center of the magma pit. He does not flinch at the heat. The hair on his arms singes slightly, smelling of burnt wool, but he ignores it. He searches within the molten rock until the jaws of the tongs find what he is looking for: a heavy ingot of celestial bronze. He pulls it free. The metal is glowing a furious, blinding white. It drips with liquid fire, shedding droplets of slag that hiss as they hit the stone floor. The air on the ingot ripples and distorts, the heat so intense it bends the light itself. He carries it to the anvil. The movement is heavy and practiced. He places the glowing lump of metal onto the black iron face of the anvil. It sits there, radiating energy, pulsing like a dying star. The forge must come to light. To shape metal of this quality, simple fire is not enough. It requires air. It requires breath. Hephaestus nods once to the shadows in the corner of the cavern. There, waiting in the gloom, are the automata. These are the Golden Maidens, mechanical assistants forged by Hephaestus himself centuries ago. They are statues of solid gold, articulated with thousands of hidden gears and copper joints. They do not speak. They do not breathe. They only serve the work. At his silent command, the machinery begins to move. A massive set of bellows, constructed from the hide of the Nemean lion and reinforced with bronze ribs, begins to expand. The sound is a deep, groaning inhale, like the lung of a giant waking up. Creak. The leather stretches tight. Then the golden gears click into place and the bellows compress. Whoosh. A focused jet of air is blasted into the charcoal bed beneath the anvil. The coals roar. The white light intensifies, becoming sharp and clear. The temperature in the room spikes. The automatons move in a perfect, mindless loop. Expand. Compress. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. The rhythmic pumping of the bellows becomes the tempo of the room. A slow, mechanical breathing that underpins every other sound. Hephaestus reaches for his hammer. It is a sledgehammer with a head of iron and a handle of ash wood, worn smooth and dark by sweat and time. He tests the weight of it, balancing it in his hand. He raises it high above his head. The muscles in his back tense, shifting under the leather straps of his apron. He pauses at the top of the arc, a moment of suspended animation. Then he brings it down. The impact is absolute. Metal strikes metal with a force that shakes the dust from the ceiling. It is not a sharp, ringing noise that hurts the ears. It is a thud, a deep, flat, resonant impact that you feel in your chest. The sound travels through the anvil, down into the petrified wood base, and dissipates into the floor. Hephaestus waits. He lets the sound fade into the corners of the room. He watches the metal flatten slightly under the blow. Then he raises the hammer again. He strikes. A shower of sparks explodes from the contact point, spraying out in a fan of golden needles. They fly through the dark air, illuminating the grim face of the god for a split second before landing on the stone floor. He strikes again. The rhythm is hypnotic. It is slow. There is no rush. Between each strike, there is a long pause where the only sound is the groaning of the bellows and the hiss of the steam vent. He turns the metal with the tongs. He strikes. He turns the metal. He strikes. The shapeless lump of bronze begins to flatten. It begins to widen. Hephaestus is driving the impurities out of the metal, compressing the grain, making it stronger. He works the edges, tapping them gently to keep the circular shape. He is making a shield. It will be a massive disc, heavy and impenetrable, but for now, it is just a glowing red plate. He works for what feels like hours. In this cave, time stretches and distorts. The repetition of the hammer puts the mind into a trance. Lift, swing, impact, wait. Lift, swing, impact, wait. The sweat runs down his face, dripping off his chin and sizzling on the hot metal. He does not wipe it away. He is entirely focused on the surface of the bronze. He watches the color change as it cools. It goes from blinding white to a cheerful cherry red to a dull bruised purple. When the metal becomes too cool to work, he lifts it with the tongs and returns it to the fire. He buries it in the coals. He waits. He watches the heat bleed back into the bronze, turning it red again. He stands there, his chest heaving slightly, listening to the hum of the earth. He checks the tools on his table. He runs a thumb over the edge of a chisel. He straightens a pile of rivets. These small, boring tasks are part of the ritual. Nothing is skipped. Nothing is hurried. The metal heats up. The bellows pump. The golden machines click and whir. The cycle begins again. He retrieves the metal. He places it on the anvil. He raises the hammer. The work continues, endless and steady, a permanent feature of the underground world. The heavy work is done. The bronze has been beaten flat, shaped into a perfect convex circle. Now, the hammer is set aside. Hephaestus picks up a smaller tool, a chasing hammer with a rounded face and a fine steel punch. The metal has cooled to a dull, dark brown, but it is still warm enough to be impressionable. He leans over the anvil, his face close to the bronze, his eyes narrowing in the dim light. He begins the quiet work of decoration. He does not carve deep grooves. Instead, he taps the metal, displacing it, pushing it gently to create raised lines and textures. Tap, 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 tap. The sound is completely different now. It is no longer a heavy thud, but a rapid, high-pitched ticking, like rain falling on a tin roof. It is a busy, intricate sound. He is creating a border around the edge of the shield. He taps out a pattern of ivy leaves, twisting and interlocking. He moves with incredible speed and precision, his hands remembering the pattern better than his mind does. He works his way inward, toward the center of the shield. He taps out the texture of dragon scales. He taps out the rough surface of a mountain range. He taps out the smooth, flowing lines of a river. He is writing a story in the metal, a story that no one will ever read, a story that will likely be battered and dented in battle. But he does not care. The perfection of the work is for him alone. He blows away the metal dust. He runs his rough fingertips over the delicate ridges he has just created. They are sharp and distinct. Finally, he straightens up. The shield is finished, but it is soft. The heat has made the molecular structure of the bronze relaxed and pliable. To be useful, to be strong, it must be sharp. It must be frozen in time. Hephaestus picks up the heavy disk with his tongs. He turns away from the anvil and walks toward the back of the cavern. Here, far from the fire, lies the quenching trough. It is a long stone basin filled with dark, viscous oil. The oil is old. It has been used for thousands of quenching. It is perfectly still, a black mirror reflecting the distant orange glow of the hearth. Hephaestus holds the shield over the liquid. The heat radiating from the metal causes the surface of the oil to ripple slightly. He takes a breath. He plunges the metal down. The sound is violent and sudden. The cave fills with the noise of aggressive steam. The oil boils instantly around the hot metal. A massive cloud of white vapor erupts from the trough, billowing up toward the ceiling, swirling around the stalactites like a localized storm. The steam smells of olives, ozone, and scorched earth. It is a thick, comforting scent. Hephaestus holds the metal under the surface. He can feel the vibrations traveling up the tongs as the bronze screams and shudders, the atoms locking into a rigid, crystalline lattice. It is a transformation. The metal is dying as a soft thing, and being reborn as a hard thing. The hissing slowly. It drops in volume, becoming a bubbling, then a simmering, and finally silent. Hephaestus lifts the shield out. It is black now, coated in burnt oil and scale. It drips heavily onto the stone floor. Drip, 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 drip. He carries it to a table and wipes it down with a rough cloth. Beneath the black scale, the bronze gleams with a deep, rich luster. It is hard. It is cold. It is finished. Hephaestus leans the shield against the wall of the cave. He walks back to the center of the room. He is finished for the night. He waves a hand, and the golden automatons freeze mid-motion. The bellows stop pumping. The gears stop turning. The mechanical clicking ceases. The roar of the fire begins to die down. Without the forced air, the white heat fades back to yellow, then to orange, then to a deep, sleepy red. Hephaestus sits on his wooden stool. He rests his elbows on his knees, his hands hanging loosely between his legs. The silence returns to the cave, heavier than before. The only sound is the settling of the cooling metal. Tick, tick, and the distant, low-frequency hum of the earth. The light in the room grows dim. The shadows lengthen, stretching out from the corners to cover the tools, the anvil, and the god himself. The fire is now just a bed of glowing embers, pulsing softly in the dark like a slow heartbeat. The warmth is fading, replaced by the cool, stable temperature of the deep earth. The rock walls seem to move closer, wrapping around you like a heavy blanket. The air is still. The work is done. There is no more noise. There is no more effort. There is only the dark, and the stone, and the deep, endless rest of the mountain. As the last ember turns to gray ash, the light vanishes completely. We are left in the comforting, total darkness of the underground. We are safe here. We are hidden here. And here, in the silence of the forge, we sleep. We leave the island of fire behind us now. The intense, radiating heat of the volcano fades into the distance, replaced instantly by the cool, clean, and heavy scent of an approaching storm. We are traveling inland, moving away from the coast and into the heart of the ancient world. We enter the deep forests of Arcadia, a place where the trees are so old, their roots have become part of the stone. The ground here is soft, covered in thick, sponge-like layers of pine needles that dampen every single footstep we take. The air is thick with mist, swirling around the trunks of the black pine. Above us, the sky breaks open. The storm we felt building on the coast finally unleashes its weight. The rain falls in heavy, rhythmic sheets, washing away the soot and the ash from our journey. It is a cleansing rain, cold and relentless. It drums against the broad leaves and the gray stones, creating a wall of white noise that completely drowns out the rest of the world. The thunder is distant, a low, rolling rumble that echoes across the hills, but never seems to get closer, serving only as a reminder of the power in the sky. Ahead, through the shifting gray curtain of the downpour, a single light glows. It is not the angry, sputtering red of the lava we left behind, nor the harsh white of lightning. It is a steady, golden orange beacon. It is the Temple of Hestia. It is a small, humble sanctuary built of rough field stone that has been gathered from this very forest and covered in centuries of thick green moss. It was not built to impress the gods with height or grandeur. It was built for a singular purpose: to shelter them. We step quickly across the stone threshold, escaping the deluge. Instantly, the overwhelming noise of the storm is cut away. The heavy wooden door, swollen with moisture and bound in iron, closes firmly behind us, sealing out the wind and the wet. The transition is absolute. The air inside is still, warm, and impossibly dry. It smells of dried sage, bundles of lavender, and the deep, rich scent of burning oak log. We have left the chaos of the elements outside. This is the domain of Hestia, the keeper of the flame, the first and the last born of the Olympians. She does not demand sacrifice from her visitors. She does not ask for great deeds of heroism or conquest. She asks only one thing, that you sit and that you be warm. In the center of the circular room lies the harp. It is a simple, perfect circle of blackened stones, worn smooth by time. It is the architectural center of the room, just as Hestia is the spiritual center of the pantheon. Inside the circle of stones, a fire burns with a slow, deliberate patience. It is not a wild fire. It is a tame, domestic flame that has been burning here since the foundation of the world. It is the anchor of the house, the point around which everything else in the universe revolves. Take a seat near the stones. The floor is covered in thick, hand-woven wool rugs, warm and soft against the skin. They absorb the sound, making the room feel even quieter, even more removed from the reality outside. You can still hear the rain outside, but it is different now. It is tapping against the clay roof tiles, a muffled, distant rhythm that sounds like 1,000 tiny fingers drumming a lullaby. It cannot reach you here. Nothing can reach you here. The cold is stranded on the other side of the wall. The dark is stuck on the other side of the door. Here in this circle, there is only the light, and the heat, and the overwhelming sense of being protected. Hestia herself sits across the fire from us. She is not dressed as a warrior like Athena, nor a queen like Charon. She is a presence, a feeling of absolute safety given form. She is wrapped in a heavy shawl of woven wool, the color of undyed yarn, which covers her head and shoulder. She does not look up as we enter, for she knows we are here. She does not need to speak to welcome us. She simply tends the flame, her primary and eternal duty. She moves with a slow, graceful economy of motion. She reaches out and turns a log over with a long bronze poker, revealing the glowing red heart of the wood that pulses with heat. Sparks rise up into the dark chimney, spiraling like tiny stars before disappearing into the night. She watches them go, and she says nothing. There is no need for words in this place. The language of this temple is silence, and the grammar is warmth. The light of the fire dances on the rough stone walls, casting long, soft shadows that sway back and forth like a cradle rocking in a nursery. On a low wooden table to your right, a simple meal has been set out for the traveler. There is no gold here, no jeweled goblets. There is a clay amphora, scratched and worn, filled with dark, heavy wine. There is a round loaf of bread, still warm from the oven, its crust dusted with white flour. Next to the bread sits a small wooden bowl of olives, cured in oil and rosemary. It is simple food, honest food. It serves to remind us that we do not need much to be truly content. A roof against the rain, a fire against the biting cold, a meal to break the fast. Here in Hestia's presence, the complex layers of the world are stripped away, leaving only the essentials of existence. The walls of the temple are thick, built to withstand 1,000 winters and 1,000 storms. They absorb the heat of the fire during the day and radiate it back at night, creating a cocoon of warmth that wraps around you. You can feel the heat on your face, loosening the tiny muscles around your eyes. You feel it unclenching your jaw. The tension drains out of your body, flowing down through the wool rugs and into the earth beneath. Focus on the embers at the base of the fire. They pulse with a deep, intense red light, darker than the yellow flames above. Breath in, and the light brightens as the fire takes in oxygen. Breath out, and the light dims as it settles. The fire is breathing with you, in and out. The ancient legends say that Hestia gave up her seat on Mount Olympus willingly. She looked at the marble palaces, the politics, the wars, and the endless arguments of the other gods, and she stepped away. She chose the earth instead. She chose the quiet life over the loud one. She understood something the others did not. That power is exhausting, but peace is renewal. She sits here, immobile in this small stone room, while the chaotic world turns endlessly outside. Empires rise and crumble into dust. Great armies march to war and retreat in defeat. The storms come, tearing down the trees, and the storms go, leaving silence in their wake. But the hearth remains. It is the only constant in a variable universe. While the other gods seek glory in the skies, Hestia seeks stillness in the center, and in that stillness she finds a reserve of strength that the warrior gods, in all their fury, can never truly understand. Listen closely to the rain now. It has grown heavier, settling into a steady, driving downpour. You can hear it drumming relentlessly against the clay tiles of the roof, 1,000 tiny liquid fingers tapping for entrance, asking to be let in. But the roof is solid. The beams are thick, ancient oak, hardened by smoke. The rain will wash the roof. It will water the thirsty pines outside. It will turn the earth to mud, but it will not touch you. You are dry. You are sealed away. The shadows in the corners of the room are deepening as the night wears on. As the fire settles into its bed of coals, the reach of the light pulls back, creating a smaller, more intimate circle of visibility. The darkness is not threatening here. It does not hide monsters. It acts like a heavy velvet blanket, tucked in tight around the edges of the room. It makes the space feel smaller, denser, and safer. It is a little pocket of warm light floating in a vast universe of dark. Watch the smoke rise from the logs. Thin, gray ribbons of vapor, curling and twisting upon themselves, moving lazily up toward the black vent in the roof. It moves with a fluid, hypnotic grace, never hurrying, never pausing. There is no rush in its movement. It simply drifts. Let your own thoughts follow the smoke. Let them detach from your mind, drift up into the air, and spiral out into the cool night. You do not need to hold on to them anymore. Let them go. Hestia reaches out once more and adds a small branch of dried pine to the center of the fire. It catches instantly with a soft pop, sending a burst of fresh, bright yellow flame, licking up the side of the wood. The scent of pine resin fills the air again, sharp, clean, and invigorating. It is the smell of the forest brought inside. The smell of old earth and deep, ancient memories. It grounds you in the physical moment, connecting you to the wood and the flame. You are completely safe here. There are no expectations placed upon you. No one is watching you to see if you are productive. No one needs anything from you. You are simply a guest in the house of silence. Your only job, your only responsibility in this moment is to breathe. To sit. To watch the flames dance and die. To let the warmth soak through your clothes and into your bones, melting away the stiffness of the day. The rhythm of the fire is slowing down now. The flames are not leaping as high as they were when we arrived. They are settling into a low, steady burn, a deep, pulsing orange that glows from within the wood. It is the color of a dying sunset, the color of ancient amber. It is a sleepy light. It signals to your brain that the work is finished, that the day is done, and that the time for activity has passed. Think of the stone beneath you. It is solid rock, immovable and permanent. It supports you completely. You do not need to hold yourself up. You do not need to keep your muscles tense to maintain your position. You can let go of the tension in your lower back. You can let your shoulders drop another inch toward the floor. The stone will hold you. The earth will catch you. You can sink down into the foundation. Hestia has closed her eyes. She is listening to the fire, listening to the rain. She is resting. She has kept this vigil for eternity, tending the hearts of the world, and even she takes a moment to rest. If a god can rest, if the keeper of the flame can close her eyes, then so can you. There is nothing left to guard. The door is barred. The walls are thick. You can close your eyes too. The reflection of the fire flickers on the curved side of the clay wine jug, a tiny dancing star on the dark, smooth ceramic. Focus your entire attention on that small point of light. Let it fill your vision until it is the only thing you see. It is the only thing that moves in the room. Everything else is still. Everything else is heavy. The world is narrowing down to a single point of warmth. The room seems to be floating now, floating in the dark, disconnected from the geography of the forest outside. There is no time here. The hours do not matter. The minutes do not exist. There is only this eternal moment, this fire, this rain. You are suspended in a bubble of comfort, drifting through the night without a destination. The logs shift and settle, collapsing softly into a bed of glowing coal. The bright yellow flames are almost gone now, replaced by a deep, intense red heat that radiates from the core. It is a darker light, a sleepier light. The energy of the fire is turning inward, conserving itself, just like you. Your energy is turning inward, moving away from the surface and down into the deep centers of rest. The coals pulse softly. Tick, tick, tick. It is the heartbeat of the temple. Rhythmic, it matches the beating of your own heart. Your pulse is slowing down to match the fire, sensing with the rhythm of the carbon, sensing with the deep, slow vibration of the earth. Every beat takes you one step further down the staircase of sleep. The shadows stretch out from the corners of the room. They are long and soft, reaching toward the center. They cover the floor, they cover the table, and now they cover your feet. The darkness is rising like a gentle tide. It is a warm darkness, velvety and thick. It wraps around you, comforting and close, hiding you from the world. It feels heavy, like a lead apron, pressing you down into the rug. Hestia is barely visible now. She is just a dark shape against the dim glow of the embers. She is the guardian of the sleep. She watches so that you do not have to. You can let go of your vigilance. You can surrender the watch. She is here, and she will not leave. You are under her protection. You can drift away. Outside, the storm is finally passing. The heavy roar of the rain has faded to a soft, gentle patter against the stone. A natural lullaby touching you. The sky is still dark, but the violence has gone out of the wind. The world is settling down. The trees are drinking their fill. The earth is sleeping. The storm has washed everything clean, leaving a fresh, quiet world waiting for the morning. Inside, the light is almost gone. The red glow of the coals is faint, barely enough to see your hand in front of your face. Your eyes no longer need to focus on anything. There is nothing left to see. You can drift. You can float in the black, warm space between waking and sleeping. The visual world is dissolving. This is the edge of the dream, the place where the physical world starts to dissolve into the mental one. The walls of the temple are fading away into the mist. The floor is fading away beneath you. You are weightless, suspended in the warmth. There is no up, and there is no down. There is only the float. One by one, the embers turn to gray ash. The red light winks out, leaving only the memory of heat. The warmth remains, radiating from the stones, but the light is finished. The show is over. The day is fully closed. The book is shut. The story of the fire has been told, and now comes the story of the silent. Darkness fills the room. Total, complete, restful. It is a relief for the tired eyes, a relief for the busy mind. No more input, no more data to process. Just the velvet silence. Hestia is still there, somewhere in the dark, sitting by the ashes, watching over the quiet house. We must leave this place now. We must travel deeper. We have found the warmth of the hearth, and now we must find the water. We rise in spirit, leaving the sleeping temple behind us. We step back out into the night, but we carry the warmth with us in our chests, a seed of fire to keep the cold away. We leave the warmth of the temple behind us now. The fire has done its work. The body is warm. The mind is slow, and the spirit is ready for the final descent. We step back out into the night, but the storm that raged before has passed complete. The rain has stopped. The air is cool again, smelling of damp earth, wet stone, and the crushed needles of ancient cypress trees. We are walking downhill now, gravity aiding our steps, descending through a grove of trees that stand like silent sentinels guarding the path to the underworld. The fog is thick here, gathering in the low places of the valley like a white ocean. It swirls around our legs, cool and ghostly in the dark, obscuring the ground beneath our feet. We are walking toward the boundary, the edge of the waking world. The trees here are motionless. Their branches are draped in heavy moss that hangs down like tattered curtains. There is no wind here. There is no rustling of leaves. The only sound is the soft, rhythmic crunch of the soft, damp earth beneath our boots as we walk deeper into the mist. You can hear it before you see it. A low, heavy, constant rush of deep water. We emerge from the tree line onto a bank of black, volcanic sand. And there it is. The river Styx, the legendary boundary between the noise of life and the silence of eternity. It is a massive river, wider than any river of the living world. It moves through the mist with the weight of ages, a liquid obsidian that reflects no starlight, absorbing everything that touches its surface. The water is not like the water of the sunlit world. It is heavier, thicker. It moves like oil or molten glass. It absorbs the light. It absorbs the sound. If you were to kneel on the bank and touch it, it would not feel wet in the way you understand. It would feel like liquid silk, cool and smooth, slipping through your fingers without leaving a trace of moisture. It flows without splashing over rocks. It flows without struggle. It simply goes, pulled by an ancient gravity toward the center of the earth. Emerging silently from the wall of fog, a boat drifts toward the shore. It is made of old, blackened wood, worn smooth by eons of passage. A single iron lantern hangs from the high prow, casting a pale, sickly green light onto the swirling mist. The ferryman waits. Charon, the silent guide who has stood on this deck since the beginning of time. He does not speak. He does not hurry. He has all the time in the universe. He raises a single weathered hand, beckoning us to board. It is an invitation to leave the solid earth behind, to leave the responsibilities of the land, and to drift on the dark water. We step off the black sand and into the boat. The wood creaks softly under our weight, a comforting ancient timber sound that speaks of stability. We sit on the low wooden bench, and with a single, slow push of the oar against the bank, we drift off into the void. We are on the water now. The shore disappears instantly into the thick gray mist behind us. We are cut off from the land, cut off from the past, cut off from the day. There is only the boat, the lantern, and the river. We are drifting on a current of absolute silence. The boat moves with a ghostly grace, cutting through the fog without disturbing the surface of the water, sliding forward into the unknown. Charon stands at the back of the vessel. He moves with a slow, hypnotic rhythm that never changes. One long, powerful pull of the oar, then a pause, then another. Creak, swish, silence. Creak, swish, silence. Watch his movement, back and forth. It is the pendulum of a great clock, counting down the final moments until sleep. It is the heartbeat of the river. Watch the blade of the oar dip into the black ink of the river. It enters the water without a splash, creating perfect concentric circles that ripple outward, fading into the fog. Each ripple is a thought leaving your mind. Each ripple is a worry drifting away from the boat. As the ripples fade into the darkness, so do the thoughts. The river takes them. The river swallows them, carrying them away downstream. The only light in this vast cavern comes from the iron lantern at the front of the boat, a pale greenish flame that swings gently with the motion of the vessel. Back and forth, back and forth. It is a sleepy light, a light that does not try to push back the dark, but merely exists within it. It is a small, guiding star in a universe of gray. Fix your eyes on the swinging light. Let it hypnotize you. We are passing deep under the earth now. High above us, unseen in the shadows, are the stone arches of the great cavern. You can feel the weight of the mountain above you. Miles of solid rock, miles of silence. The world of the sun, the world of noise, the world of demands is very far away. You are deep in the foundation of the world, in the place where the roots of the mountains begin. The boat is old. The wood is ancient cypress, hardened and petrified by eons of travel on this river. It is worn smooth by the millions of souls who have made this journey before. Touch the wood in your mind. It is cool to the touch. It is solid. It vibrates slightly with the current of the river beneath it. It is carrying you safely. It will not sink. It will not tip. The fog is getting thicker as we move downstream. It wraps around the boat like a soft white blanket, insulating us from everything. It dampens the sound even further, absorbing the creak of the oar. You can no longer see the water over the side. You can no longer see the ferryman clearly. You are suspended in a cloud, a cocoon of white mist. There is no direction here. There is no north or south. You do not need to steer this boat. You do not need to row. The ferryman knows the way. He has made this journey since the beginning of time. You can trust him completely. You can let go of the need to control your direction. You are a passenger. For the first time all day, perhaps for the first time in years, you are just a passenger. Your only task is to sit and be carried. The dampness of the river settles on everything. Tiny droplets of mist cling to your clothes, to the wood of the boat, to the iron of the lantern. It is a cool, refreshing sensation on the skin. It cools the heat of the day. It washes away the tension in your muscles. You are being baptized in the quiet. The moisture acts as a barrier, separating you from the dry, dusty world above. We are moving deeper into the dark. The air is getting cooler. It is the stable, constant temperature of a deep cellar or a stone crypt. It is a preservative cold, a stillness that stops time itself. Here in the underworld, nothing ages, nothing changes. Everything just is. The river flows, but it does not change. The rock stands, but it does not crumble. You are entering a state of stasis. Look up into the dark above the mist. There are no stars here. There is no moon. There is only the velvet void, infinite and empty. It is restful to look at nothing. Your eyes do not need to hunt for details. They do not need to read text or recognize faces. They can relax. They can unfocus. The darkness acts like a soft, cool hand covering your eyes, pressing gently against your lids. Listen to the water again. It is a low-frequency hum, a white noise of liquid that fills the ears. It is the sound of your own blood rushing in your veins. Whoosh, steady and slow. The river is inside you, and the river is outside you. You are part of the flow. You are liquid. You are moving without effort, carried by a force greater than yourself. Deep below the surface of the black water, faint lights begin to appear. Pale blue wisps of light, drifting in the current like submerged spirits or sunken stars. They are the memories of the old world, fading away, drifting down to the bottom of the river to settle in the silt. Let them go. Watch them sink deeper and deeper until they are gone. You do not need them where we are going. Charon lifts the oar from the water. He stops rowing. We have reached the middle of the river, the deepest point. The current takes us now entirely. The boat drifts, spinning slowly, lazily, in the dark water. There is no friction anymore, no resistance. We are simply floating, drifting, turning in the dark like a leaf on a midnight pond. The flame in the lantern is burning low. It flickers once, twice, and dims. The green light fades to a dull, dying ember. The shadows move in closer, claiming the space. The edges of the boat disappear into the dark. The boundaries of your own body seem to disappear into the dark. Where does the boat end? Where does the river begin? Where do you begin? It is all blending together. The mist pours over the sides of the boat like a slow waterfall. It pools on the floorboards, curling around your feet, rising up to your knees. It is soft and heavy. It feels like sleep itself, weighing you down, gently pressing you into the seat, anchoring you. You feel heavy. You are made of lead. You are sinking into the wood of the boat, becoming one with it. The figure of the ferryman is blurring now. He is becoming part of the shadows, losing his form. He is not a person anymore. He is just a presence, a silent guardian in the back of your mind. He will keep the boat steady. You do not need to watch him. You do not need to verify his course. You can close your eyes. He will take you there. Your eyes are heavy, so heavy. It is too much effort to keep them open even for a second longer. Let them close. Let the darkness behind your eyelids merge with the darkness of the cave. There is no difference now. Inside and outside are the same. It is all one color. It is all one silence. You are safe in the black. You are drifting on the black water. There is no destination anymore. The journey is the destination. To float, to rest, to be carried. You are a leaf on the stream. You are a stone sinking in the deep. You are falling slowly through the water, weightless and free. There is nothing to hold on to, and nothing to hold you back. The boat feels like it is dissolving beneath you. The wood is turning to mist. The seat beneath you is turning to cloud. You are no longer sitting. You are floating, suspended in the cool, dark air, weightless, free from gravity, free from the earth. You are a consciousness drifting in the void. Ahead, through the fog, a shape emerges, a dark shore, the far bank, the land of Elysium, the land of dream. It is not a place of activity or judgment. It is a place of static perfection. We are approaching the end of the line. The boat slows and slows as it glides through the last few feet of water. A soft bump reverberates through the wood of the hull. We have touched the shore. The forward motion stops completely. The water is still. The boat rests gently against the black sand of the far bank. We have arrived, but we do not need to get out. We do not need to disembark and walk into the fields beyond. We can stay here, in a boat, at the very edge of the world, suspended between the river and the land. The lantern at the prow gives one last, feeble flicker, struggling against the inevitable, and then goes out. A thin line of gray smoke rises from the wick, curling into the mist before vanishing. The light is gone. There is only the natural dark now. The restful, heavy dark. Your eyes adjust instantly. Your mind adjusts instantly. This is the natural state of things. The artificial light of the day is the aberration. The darkness is the truth. The landscape before us is vast and silent, stretching out into infinity. Fields of asphodel, pale, ghostly flowers, nod gently in the dark, though there is no wind to move. No birds sing here. No crickets chirp. It is a library of silence, a museum of sleep where every artifact is preserved in perfect stillness. You are the only guest in this vast hall. You have the entire underworld to yourself, a sanctuary of solitude. Pull the darkness around your shoulders like a heavy winter cloak. It is warm. It is soft. It protects you from the light. It protects you from the noise. It protects you from the demands of the living. You are wrapped in the night, snug and hidden. You are invisible here. No one can find you. No one can call your name. You are safe. The images are fading now. The river is fading into the gray. The boat is dissolving into shadow. The ferryman is gone, returning to the mist. There is only you, and the dark, and the sound of your own breath. Slow, deep, rhythmic. It is the only sound left in the universe. Listen to it. Follow it down. We are going down now. Deeper than the river, deeper than the cave, into the center, into the core of rest. A pleasant heaviness spreads through your legs, anchoring them to the bed. It spreads through your arms, making them feel like stone. It spreads through your chest, slowing your heart. You are becoming part of the earth. You are heavy. You are solid. Your jaw is loose and slack. Your forehead is smooth, erased of all lines of worry. The thoughts are gone. They were left on the other shore, piles of luggage that you did not bring with you. They cannot cross the river. You are safe from them here. You are empty. You are clean. You are a blank slate waiting for the peace of sleep to write upon you. Silence. Absolute, ringing silence. Even the water has stopped flowing. There is only the rhythm. In and out. In and out. The final anchor. The final release. You are letting go of the last thread that holds you to the day. You are cutting the rope. You are drifting free into the ocean of the night. You have crossed the river. The fare is paid in full. The work is done. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to fix. There is nothing left to be. You do not need to be a student. You do not need to be a worker. You do not need to be a friend or a son. You just need to be. Just sleep. Sleep. Deep sleep. The darkness holds you in its cupped hands. The earth holds you. You are rock. You are stone. You are dormant. You have returned to the sword. The fire of the forge is cold. The hearth is quiet. The river is still. All is well. Drift away. Drift into the black. No dreams tonight. Just rest. Deep, endless, restorative rest. Sink down through the mattress. Sink down through the floor. Sink down into the dark, warm earth. Down and down and down.